So here you are in your car headed toward that important meeting, or maybe you're a delivery driver headed to pick up a customer. In either situation, you don't know how to get to the address in question. Good thing you have GPS installed on your device, isn't it? As you begin your drive, you start to wonder exactly what is this GPS that I'm using. Well, that precisely is the topic of today's video, so stay tuned. Unless you're driving, of course, then focus on the road and watch after. There are in fact several countries that either have a current satellite-based digital mapping system or are in the process of developing one. These include, and I'll probably butcher some of these names, so fair warning, Russia's GLONASS, China's Beidou, the EU's Galileo, which I think is a very clever name, India's Navik or NAV-IC, Japan's QZSS, and of course America's GPS. Not a cool original name, but it's whatever. And it's this one in particular that I will be focusing on in this video. Global Positioning System, or GPS for short, is a satellite-based navigation system allowing users to determine their exact current location, including altitude, longitude, and latitude, from anywhere on the planet, regardless of weather conditions. So where did it come from, you might ask? Glad you did. You see, the very first GPS system was in fact developed by America's Department of Defense in the 1970s. What a shocker there. This is not their first creation that I've covered, the internet itself being the other example, which, by the way, if you want to know more about that, feel free to check out my previous What is the Internet video after this one. So it was created by the DoD, but why? This creation was definitely a collaboration that involved many people and organizations alike. However, I will be focusing on two men in particular, both of which have earned the distinguished title of the father of GPS. The first, Dr. Ivan Getting, being an American engineer and physicist, having worked on many military and scientific projects, he helped create the very idea of a satellite-based navigation system capable of providing exact real-time location data from literally anywhere on the planet. That's impressive. This laid the groundwork, the foundation for what will become GPS. He was active in coordinating efforts between the scientific and military communities alike, as well as pushing the technology forward. In short, this obvious genius's leadership and brilliant vision helped turn GPS from just a thought, idea, or even a fantasy into a reality that we are still benefiting from today in 2025. So, big props to this man. The second is none other than Air Force Colonel Bradford Parkinson. Although he would later join the Navy, at the time of his work on the GPS project, he was still an Air Force Colonel. And as such, he was designated to lead the development of the GPS program in the 1970s. In fact, this impressive son of a bitch led the team that tested and even launched the very first GPS satellite navigation. Damn, that's one hell of a flex. Under his leadership, GPS became both practical and, more importantly, operational. This, of course, positively impacted not only military operations, but eventually spread to civilian use. GPS was originally created to give the U.S. military accurate navigation, improved targeting and guidance for things like missiles, troop movements, and aircraft navigation, and of course, to gain and keep a strategic advantage. The first prototype, Navstar 1, was launched on February 22, 1978. The full GPS system, however, would not become operational until between 1993 and 1995, having 24 satellites that together provided global coverage. And for all you nerds counting, I'm sure there are more than 24 satellites covering the Earth in this picture. I'm aware. I did not count them. Even as of today, June 2025, the DoD still retains ownership of the GPS system. Enter President Bill Clinton. After giving the American late-night comedians pretty much unlimited material due to his scandals and impeachment attempts. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, look up the Monica Lewinsky trial. That was pretty much a gold mine, and comedians had a field day. However, on May 1st, 2000, he gave something else. You see, it was President Bill Clinton who ordered the deactivation of selective availability. This order gave civilians full access to this kick-ass revolutionary tech, and for the first time, digital maps became a thing, replacing the old paper ones your parents or grandparents probably got you all lost on a family trip using. You know, the ones where they were too stubborn to admit that they were lost, although it was obvious that they definitely were. Ever since he signed that order, GPS has had an amazing impact on society, with hella common uses, obviously. Driving navigation. Might as well start with the most obvious, and probably the most common. Pretty much every smartphone for the past 10 years at least has had this feature installed. Actual turn-by-turn directions, often accompanied by an AI digital voice narrating them out loud. This is designed so that even the biggest dumbass can follow along, officially making the old school paper maps obsolete as shit. Just think, what if maybe Columbus or other ancient explorers would have had this technology? What would the world be like today? Fitness tracking. Cycling, running, and hiking apps measure not only your routes, but your pace, and of course, your location. So just in case you're not like these three who have probably been doing this for years, maybe you're the guy or gal who's been eating, I don't know, fried chicken and bonbons for the past 3 years, and then you try and decide to hit a trail up. When you collapse, and collapse you shall, then at least your app will have your exact location so that emergency services can come rescue your ass. Geotagging photos. Now this one I'm not the biggest fan of, but whatever. Nowadays you can, and lots of people do choose to auto-tag the location to their photos, posted in either their phone or online on social media for the entire world to see. It's one thing if you're not at that location anymore, but if you're still there, that's a huge safety risk, given the just joyful state of the world. I'm almost certain that this one in particular will come back up whenever I do the drawbacks on GPS. I don't know, we'll see. Military operations. Well, yeah, I mean, it is owned by the Department of Defense, so of course it is. GPS is commonly used for targeting troop movement, both friendly and enemy, for surveillance, things like, again, troops or supply lines, for guiding weapon systems, the whole 9 yards. Mapping services. Everyday apps like Apple, Google Maps, all the greats. They might all be rivals, they may all be, competing with each other, but they all have one thing in common. They all use GPS for its accuracy, and of course, its tagging and pinpoint location options. And this brings us to one of my favorite pictures of the video. Definitely one of the runners-up for thumbnail options. Anyway, with these common uses, obviously come common benefits, including, but definitely not limited to the following. Number 1, no more need for paper maps. For centuries, our ancestors, hell, probably even our parents or grandparents, depending on how old you are, relied on old school paper maps. This sometimes included plotting courses, learning map terrain signals, infrastructure symbols, etc., etc. Map reading was actually a very valued skill that could be taught, and was definitely necessary. All that shit is obsolete now. In fact, it's so obsolete that this kid is literally folding a paper map into a damn paper origami crane or whatever the hell that is. As GPS uses digital maps with AI-assisted turn-by-turn assistance, just put in the address or look it up, whichever one, hit start, and let the robot do all the heavy lifting. This tech is so OP that it's almost certainly making Columbus and every other ancient traveler, especially the ones who wound up lost, roll over in their graves. Number 2, adaptive rerouting. Have you ever missed a turn? Sure you have. We all have. In the old days, this could have been a major issue. Nowadays, no worries. GPS offers real-time course corrections, again with the AI-assisted turn-by-turn, making it much harder to, miss your intended continent so badly that you basically sail to a brand new world. Again, looking at you, Columbus, you genocidal dumbass. Number 3, 911 accuracy. Eventually, we are all going to have an emergency. Good thing GPS helps emergency responders find callers faster and with more accuracy. Gone are the days of having to rely solely on telling them your address and maybe having to stay on the phone with them. Now, they have the power of satellites in orbit to help them find and save lives faster. Good thing for this guy right here, because any longer he might be dead as hell. He might be just as dead as Columbus was a couple of pictures back. Number 4, weather updates. That weather forecast that some of us watch pretty much every morning and others of us ignore like it's not even there. Yep, that is made more accurate via GPS. GPS allows us to receive real-time storm trackers and other weather patterns. This in turn gives us at least some advance notice so we can plan and dress accordingly. And also not be that person stuck in the supermarket at the last minute watching everybody buy like 40 gallons of milk, 12,000 pounds of eggs, and all the water that the eye can see, even just because it's going to snow for one day. Check that forecast, people. Check that forecast. Number 5, search and rescue. Now this job is going to be hard no matter what. However, thankfully there is GPS to help our heroes successfully pinpoint lost and or injured people, hopefully in a timely manner, and hopefully allowing them to be reunited with loved ones, virtually unharmed. These are only 5 benefits, could have easily added more. However, now, I would instead rather talk about 5 drawbacks. Number 1, spoofing vulnerabilities. Definitely didn't know this was a thing. With all great technology comes scammers, of course. There's always that jackass that tries to scam people. In fact, skilled enough hackers can actually fake GPS signals and of course trick and mislead users. This is incredibly dangerous and under the wrong circumstances could even be life-threatening, making this a major drawback. Number 2, signal loss and malfunction. This is the one, folks. This is the one I've personally experienced more than my fair share of times. You know, when you're en route to an area and the GPS just goes out and the map does stupid shit like this in the picture. Just goes out maybe because of tall buildings, mountains, needing an update. Whatever the reason may be, your GPS signal just suddenly ghosts you harder than Beetlejuice. Perhaps when it tells you one direction and then suddenly reroutes. Or when you're driving on the interstate and definitely cannot afford to take your eyes off the road, and I guess it gets mad at you, stops talking out loud and gives you the silent treatment. I don't know, maybe it thinks you're cheating on it with GLONASS. Perhaps my favorite is when you have no idea where you are and it tells you to make a right at a certain street, but the kicker is it waits until you get to the damn street to tell you that as you're driving in actual traffic with actual other cars. Alright folks, rant over. You all get the point. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Number 3, battery drain. As I'm sure you've noticed by now, if you are planning on using your GPS for an extended period of time, you will need a charger, as using this feature is very useful. However, if left unchecked, it will quickly, and I mean very quickly, drain your battery. Faster than you think it will, at least. Number 4, loss of navigation skills. People tend to become too reliant on GPS, like other technologies. In this case, they either forget how to, or flat out never learn navigation skills, like how to read maps, read terrains, things of that nature. These are all skills that are definitely come in handy if you catch yourself in a situation where your precious GPS is just out. And believe me, you will find yourself in a situation where your GPS is out. Number 5, map dependency. This is one I doubt many people realize, but it is true. If the data on whatever app you are using is wrong, well, guess what? The almighty GPS cannot help you. It is going to navigate you to whatever address is on the app. I can bet anyone who has ever worked in a delivery and/or rideshare service can attest to this one. In fact, you might mess around and find yourself in a situation like our friend here in the picture, or worse. Hope not. However, with all of its flaws, I guarantee it still has a bright future ahead of it. In fact, here are 5 future uses, 5 ways that is predicted to upgrade and evolve. Number 1, drone highways. Now this might look like an alien invasion, but it's actually not. In fact, at some point, delivery drones will become so common that they will actually require coordinated air routes. This is going to be like, I don't know, Amazon on steroids that can fly. Number 2, flying taxis. Taxis, rideshares, whatever you want to call them. Anyone from the 80s or older will remember the mythical air car. Well, now they're becoming a reality. Air cars are actually in existence right now, if in nothing else but the prototype stages. They're just not mainstream yet. They will be. Just imagine, you get on your app, you order a rideshare, and they show up not in a ground vehicle, but in an air car, a flying air car. And then to add to the sci-fi element, it probably won't be a human at all. Number 3, Mars navigation systems. Satellites will orbit Mars just like they do Earth now. It's pretty much a given that they'll be controlled by AI. Anyone living on Mars at the time will have a similar GPS system to benefit from. However, due to the differences of Earth as opposed to Mars, they will not be exactly the same. And I'm guessing none of this will take place until we've managed to terraform the planet. At least a little bit. Number 4, memory recall maps. GPS will be able to log where you have been so you can effectively rewind your life's path or paths. This will work using state-of-the-art tracking, data storage, and neural interfaces, all working together to create a map history of literally everywhere you have been. Instead of relying on memory alone, through this integration with tech, you will be able to revisit past locations and events. Now, on a side note, this just seems like incalculable brain trauma waiting to happen if done incorrectly, and I'll definitely be revisiting this topic once it's implemented. And finally, for number 5, we're going to end on a really cool one, at least I think, that being GPS tourism and time portals, a far cry from the potential digital brain aneurysm I just discussed. A GPS tourism time portal is a kick-ass concept where augmented reality, GPS, and historical data all merge. This will allow tourists to experience their current location as it was decades or even centuries in the past, or even speculative future versions via their AR glasses, phones, or smart lenses of some sort. This incredible tech will overlay historical reconstructions or future predictions onto a real-life site. I personally cannot wait for these, as I'm a nerd like that and will definitely be all for this. And hopefully, if you're watching this after August of 2025, hopefully these are a thing by now. If not, I'm disappointed. And there you have it, folks. GPS in a nutshell. Now we know just a little bit more about it, where it came from, its purpose, and where it's going. If you like the content of this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Hit that notification button so you'll be notified whenever I drop new content. Thanks for watching and have a good day. And stay tuned for my next video. As I promised someone I met a couple weeks ago, it's going to be on that TV you're probably looking at right now. Have a good day, folks. Bye.